So I think now we're okay. Welcome to Conversations with Esther today, the 1st of May, 2024. Happy Labor Day to every one of you. Asanteni Sarah for joining. So I'll kick off with the word of prayer and then we can proceed. Let us pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for the far that you have brought us. Thank you for the ladies and the gentlemen in the room. We pray that you will bless them, bless their businesses, bless their families, bless them in every way. And those that will be joining us and watching this later, bless them too, and bless our speaker tonight in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So I think co-host, you'll help me just manage them as I put up this presentation in short. Good. Maybe for those that are joining us for the very first time, allow me to just put this up. I know Jane can almost sing this now. So let me just give you an intro of Conversations with Esther. We are an impact-driven professional platform that will inform you, educate you, and rebuild your mindset. And I say again that we've had sessions and very empowering sessions with some of the people I see in the room, like Jane Mutisia, that have been rebuilding mindsets, and Paul Ngugi Boni is back again here. So we ignite ethical and authentic leadership best practice within industries while promoting healthy workplace relationships. Now, Conversations with Esther equips the employee with relevant workplace skills while supporting employers to develop, motivate, and retain talent. Now, guided by our 3 values, and I'm very keen on values, and I encourage everyone to get their personal values. Besides having organizational values, develop your own values. Now, guided by our 3 values, integrity, excellence, and impact, Conversations with Esther envisions a world transformed by candid conversations, respectable relationships, and intentional leadership. Now, this is our theme for 2024, prioritizing holistic wellness. And your relationships are part of your wellness. Your relationships in the workplace are part of your wellness. So we speak to your physical, mental, intellectual, environmental, spiritual, social, and financial. Now, looking at this wheel, we are at the social wellness pillar. And I want to appreciate and congratulate those that have been walking this journey with us. We've managed to come through the physical wellness pillar. We've gone into the mental wellness pillar. We did financial wellness last month, and this month we are on social wellness. We will be moving into the spiritual and the rest, and finishing in August. Now, allow me to just move into this in the interest of time. Those are our social media handles. Check out our YouTube, Conversations with Esther Katiba. You're able to watch previous recordings and sessions on mental health, on building your social capital, on how to get a job, how to position yourself as a brand, and many others. You can check out our posts and conversations as well on LinkedIn, Esther Katiba, our Instagram, Conversations with Esther. Feel free to drop me an email at info@conversationswithesther.Katiba. Now, here we are, building healthy relationships in the workplace. The workplace is where we spend most of our time, actually. I keep saying, if you're going to work every day, you spend the least, actually sleeping, waking up and sleeping time in your house. It's actually you're on transit in your house. But you spend a lot of time in the workplace, and you need to be intentional about building healthy relationships in the workplace. Now, why you should invest in workplace relationships? Healthy work relationships require trust, respect, self-awareness, inclusion, and open communication. Workplace relationships have a great impact on employee engagement levels, productivity, retention, job satisfaction, and healthcare costs. I want to bring our guest for tonight as I stop to share this so that we have Bonnie coming on board. Now, our guest tonight is Boniface Nyoikinganga. Bonnie, I call him Bonnie, so just allow me. I call him Bonnie. Boniface is the privileged founder and director of Success Edge Enterprise and the School of Authentic Living to Capacity Building Initiative.
That we represent something very high and
based in Kenya. Thank you. Thank you for that. His mission is to empower individuals and institutions to leverage on their personal authenticity to unlock purpose, progress, profitability, and peculiarity. He does this through personal and group coaching, authorship and content creation, training and consultancy, online programs, and keynote addresses. His strength lies in creating soft skills solutions that help individuals and institutions to master patterns of greatness, principles of next level competitiveness, and strategic skills for productive engagement. Now, his work in capacity building has allowed him to travel widely, inspiring and empowering people from different walks of life. As an author, he has penned down several transforming titles. He will tell us more about this, among them the widely distributed Excellence Code. I like that, Bonnie. That's one of my values. Excellence Code, the Leader Lifter, the Quest for Authentic Character, Towards Authentic Manhood. Paul, you need to get this one, Towards Authentic Manhood, and among others. Now, as a devoted family man, he is married to Mary Zhao, and together they are raising 3 champions, Jeremy, Jaden, and Jewel. But let me say this, Bonnie, as you come on board. Those that have not listened to Bonnie when he talks about marriage, my goodness, I think, Bonnie, I need to invite you. I need to invite you on one of these sessions. Bonnie is one of the best speakers on matters marriage. Karibu sana, Boniface. The floor is yours. Karibu.
Thank you, Esther. I must say I'm very excited to be here in a few minutes to be able to share some thoughts and some reflections that I think will be able to add value to all of us. Thank you, Esther, for having me again on this platform. It's always very exciting to be able to interact with professionals, people who are making life happen in this country of ours called Kenya. So once again, let me appreciate all of you for taking time off your Labor Day to come and learn, to come and grow, and to come and make something better out of your professional and personal life. I don't have a lot of time, so allow me to just dive into what I need to share with us today. And that is the power of healthy relationships in the workplace. I think Esther rightly said that we spend a lot of our time in the workplace. As a matter of fact, you will realize that in your lifetime, most probably you will spend more time with your colleagues than you will with your family, because most of your waking hours are spent either in an office, they are spent either in a business setup, or they are spent with people that are working outside of your home. And so because of that reality, it is important to understand that without developing an ability to build healthy relationships with the people in the workplace, you live a life of great disadvantage. One of the biggest advantages you ever have in life is the ability to have social capital that has been harnessed on the anvil of good interpersonal skills. And that's what I'm going to be sharing today. But before I share, allow me to ask you one question, and I want you to just give me your answer in the chat. Do you remember the person that you most enjoyed working with? I want you to, in a moment, just to your past, your professional journey, and remember the person that you most enjoyed working with. And I'm going to be telling you the person that I most enjoyed working in a few minutes. And I want you, as you hold the picture of that person, in the chat box, I want you to tell me what one quality did they have that you loved the most. I want us to just engage here for a minute. Do you remember the person you most enjoyed working with? And what one quality did they have that you enjoyed the most about them? Please go to the chat and just put one quality that this particular person that you enjoyed working with had that you loved the most. I want to just see a few of your responses here of the person that you enjoyed working with, and what one quality did you admire about them. Let's go on the chat very quickly because we have limited time. All right, my dad, I love that. Zeddy says my dad, time management, just the ability to manage time well is something that Zeddy totally loved about working with his dad. Let me just hear or see a few more responses very quickly so that we can get into the conversation. So somebody has said time management. What are the others amongst us saying? All right, I like this. Ann Minor says, Alex, very transparent and inclusive to the team. I love that. Joyce Kimani is saying, Simon, my mentor, his ability to see me for what I could be. That's amazing. All right. Paul, you're saying, Jane Mutisia, infectious enthusiasm and energy. All right. Helen, you're saying, my current boss, very empathetic. Powerful things. All right. Let's flip this the other way around. And I want us to look at the other side of the coin. Do you remember somebody that you did not like working with? Like every time you thought about working with them, you felt your blood pressure going up. You felt yourself being uncomfortable. Do you recall a person that you did not enjoy working with, but you endured working with? What quality did they have that you disliked the most? Let's share that as well. So we've talked about the person we loved. Now we want to talk about the person that we did not like. What one quality did you not like about them? All right. Joyce, I'm seeing you saying my current boss. I hope this is not on the second question. Let's hear the others very quickly. Let me just get about, all right. Okay, somebody's saying they gaslight me, all right? They hate working with people who gaslight them, all right? Zeddy, I don't understand what you're saying. I think you're saying not true. I don't know what that means. Who else wants to share? Like, we are not mentioning names here. We're just talking about people that we do not like working with. And what are the qualities that they have, all right? A certain director, too negative, all right? Okay. Former colleagues sabotaged me and used to hide information, all right? And Ann Minor is saying, Mr. F came in the organization and depended on gossip to learn about people. I mean, these are very interesting responses. And I want to tell you about somebody that I worked with that I totally enjoyed working with. So many years ago, when I was working with the government, I had this amazing boss. He was a Meru man. I recall his name till date. And it's almost 10 years since, he left the organization, and I also left. And this gentleman was one of the most amazing people that I ever worked with. I mean, he would come in the morning, and the first thing that would happen is he would walk to every person's desk and give them a high five and just bring a lot of positive energy in the room. One of my highlights was when he used to travel abroad for trips that were related to work. And when he would come back, we would all look forward to him coming back, because when he came back, he used to come with this box of chocolates and call all of us that were parents into his office and say, you, how many kids do you have? You, how many kids do you have? And everybody would get an equivalent number of chocolates that were equal to the number of children that you had. I mean, when he would call you to his office to reprimand you, it sounded like a father talking to you as opposed to a boss talking to you, because the guy was warm, the guy was authentic, he would literally bring life and light to the room. Now, I share that story to say, can you imagine how every working day of our lives would be a day when you show up in your workplace, everybody looks forward to meeting with you. Everybody looks forward to you coming to the office because of what you bring into the office space. And the question that I would want to ask you is, do people endure working with you, or do people enjoy working with you? And the reason why I ask that question is because many times when we talk about healthy relationships in the workplace, we think about the people we relate with, and we rarely think about the people that relate with us and the experience that they have as a result of relating with us. Now, let's talk about a few things here. Your professional life is like a two-winged bird. We all understand that there is no bird that can fly with one wing. If you have one wing, you will end up having a flight that can never take off. But if you're going to have a professional life that is going to take off, you're going to enjoy your work, people are going to enjoy working with you, and you're also going to enjoy working with people, there are two things that you must bring on the professional platform that you engage in. And number one is that you must bring on something called proficiency. Proficiency has got to do with your skills. It has got to do with your competence. It has got to do with your clarity about what you are in the work to do. But the other side of the coin, or the other wing of the bird, is that there is something called being personable. That beyond you being a skilled worker, beyond you being a competent worker and a committed worker, you are somebody that people enjoy interacting with. You are somebody that people enjoy engaging with, because you are a ball of energy and enthusiasm, like we were talking about. And for you to be personable, you need to have character, you need to have compassion, and you need to have the ability to have consideration for the people that you relate with. Now, if you're trying to run your professional life only on the wing of proficiency, you will only fly so far, because you will be working with people that don't enjoy working with you. You will be working with people that endure your presence, and they look forward to the weekend, because you are not an asset to them, but you are a liability to them. Now, let's talk about the four sins. And let me just use this quote before I pivot to the next point. There's something that Roger Pierman says, and I think is a very profound thought. Roger Pierman says that the greatest personal and professional setbacks in the lives of people are directly related to poor interpersonal skills. In other words, if you ever find yourself that you're having setbacks in your career, you're having setbacks in your professional life, could be that you are highly skilled in doing the job, but you're not as highly skilled in relating with people. And this is why developing interpersonal skills is such an important part of your mental well-being, of your professional life. And we will see this later. Even your promotability at work is determined highly by how well you are able to engage socially with the people that you work with. Now, let's talk about a few things here that I think are important. I call them the four sins of dysfunctional workplace relationships. When we were starting our discussion, I asked you, what are some of the things that you hated in somebody that you ever worked with that was not a joy to work with? And I've summarized this for you so that you can begin to interrogate your own life as an individual and interrogate the people around you. And you will realize that for most people that don't have good workplace relationships, there are four things that define them. Number one, they have ethical gaps. In other words, they do not have character in as much as they may have competence. I remember one time I was working with this boss that was a lady, and she was overseeing a team of salespeople. But one interesting thing happened. She started having an affair with the boss in the office. And this is an ethical gap. And I remember last time I was here, I was talking about workplace romance. And because this boss started having this affair with this other person in the office, what would happen is that they would exchange lovey-doveys on WhatsApp. They would send each other inappropriate material on WhatsApp. And one time, as people are seated in a sales meeting in the office, this boss was attempting to send some pornographic material to his workplace lover. And instead of sending it to the workplace lover, she ended up sending it to the group office, the WhatsApp group office where everybody was. And the moment she realized that she had uploaded this material there, she panicked and she screamed loudly, because that was not her intention. I can tell you, from that day, after she uploaded that material, she was so embarrassed that she had to go on leave. She literally had to take all her days of leave because she had exposed that she had an ethical gap. What are we saying? If you don't take care of your character, you cannot take care of your workplace relationships. And even when she came back, you could see shame written all over her face, because when you have ethical gaps, it will affect your relationships in the office. The second thing that is a capital sin of a dysfunctional workplace relationship is when people are entitled. And what does it mean to be entitled? It means that you have an unhealthy self-focus. You think the workplace is supposed to revolve around you. You are insecure and you love being, you are an aggressive attention seeker. Nobody loves to work with entitled people. Nobody loves to work with people who think that it's all about them. And closely related to that is ego. There are people who have an ego that is as big as Texas. I remember, one time working with a colleague or a team leader that would never allow anybody to shine. They had such a big ego. You would try to contribute in the meetings. They would shut you down. They would make you look like you are not, intelligent enough. And this is what you've got to realize, that when you have a big ego, you think that you have to make others to look bad so that you can look good. What you don't know is that if you try to make others look bad so that you can look good, you eventually end up looking bad. Ego will cause your workplace relationships to be discolorful and to be distasteful. And fourthly, and the last one, is people who are emotionally fragile. These are people who, when they are criticized or they are given feedback or they are given an opinion that is contrary to what they think, they respond in an emotionally immature way. And here is one of the things that you will realize, that in the workplace, if you are emotionally fragile, there are people who will take advantage of, I think I heard somebody say that there are people who gaslight others. And one of the things that happens is that people who gaslight others are emotionally fragile. There are people who feel like they have to have this negative energy around them so that they can be able to have mileage. So these are the four capital sins that cause workplace relationships to be dysfunctional or not to be effective. And I would like you to examine yourself as a worker, as a professional. Where do you find that your struggles in relating with others are? Is it an ethical gap? Are you entitled, And especially people who are, they say millennials, Gen Zs, and Gen Alphas sometimes can be very entitled. They feel like they should show up and be given a promotion just because they have a degree, and they end up rubbing people the wrong way because they are entitled. Allow me to move a little bit faster in the interest of time as we examine that. So what are the 5 things that can help you to begin to have what I call a positive aura around you while you are in the office, so that you become somebody that people can enjoy working with, somebody that is promotable, somebody that is likable, something that is compatible with people in different environments? What are the 5 relationship factors that you need to install as the softwares that will allow your professional life to have mobility because you relate well with others? By the way, people are hired for their competence but people are promoted for their relationship effectiveness. If you don't relate well with people, chances are that your momentum professionally will not be as fast as it should be. So what are the 5 relationship factors that you need to install in your life as a professional so that you can be able to enjoy your life at work? Number 1, you need to be trustworthy. And this, you will realize, these are aspects of emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is one of the greatest capacities you can ever have in the workplace. So what does it mean to be trustworthy? If you're going to be somebody that people enjoy working with, you've got to be somebody that is dependable, consistent, open, and sincere. Now, notice those 4 words are character words. You cannot be somebody that people enjoy working with if you are a person that cannot be trusted. You know why? Somebody said this, and I think it's very true, and I want to just bring this to your attention. In the workplace, it is a higher reward to be trusted than to be liked. You need to become the kind of a person that can be trusted in the workplace. In the year 2016, I was working for the government, and one of my bosses decided to commit a fraud. And of course, after he committed a fraud, we realized that he was stealing. And my colleague and myself decided, hey, we are working with somebody who is not trustworthy here. And if we are not careful, we are going to get in a lot of trouble because of his lack of trust. And guess what? When we reported the fraud, you and I know what happens in Kenya. When you report a fraud, you're usually the first one to be thrown under the bus. And I was put on interdiction for a whole 6 months just because I was working with somebody who was not trustworthy. And of course, after 6 months, we were reinstated back to work. But do you think my relationship with that boss was ever the same again? It was never the same again. You know why? In the workplace, after being competent, the second most important thing that you need to have is being trustworthy. All right. You need to be trustworthy. Why is this important? Steve Covey says that when the trust account is high, communication is easy. And guess what makes relationships work in the workplace? The ability to communicate, which is rooted in the ability to be trustworthy. Now, you not only must be trustworthy, but number 2, you must be thoughtful of your colleagues. You must be thoughtful. When you're in a workplace, if you're going to have good relationships with the people in the workplace, instead of thinking about how your colleagues can help you, why not turn it around and ask yourself, how can I work to add value to them? How can I demonstrate concern and provide support to them in the workplace? Because when you're thoughtful about others, you develop what is called a positive psychological contract. All right. When you become thoughtful about their well-being in the workplace, you're thinking about how you can assist them to achieve their goals at work, their targets at work. When you demonstrate concern for them and you provide support, you begin to develop an atmosphere that causes people to enjoy working with you. Why is this true? Because John Maxwell says that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you begin by being trustworthy. Number 2, you go from being trustworthy to being thoughtful. Think about ways that you can help others to win in the workplace. Number 3, and very quickly, there is what is called tactfulness. There are competencies that you need to develop that will help you to work better with others. What does it mean to be a tactful worker? It means that as you work with people, you develop skills that allow them to be able to develop a bridge. All right, are we together? Okay, I think we're together. I think there was a slight interruption there. So when you are tactful, there are 3 key skills that you must develop. You must develop the ability to listen. There are people, the reason why they cannot have good relationships in the workplace is because they are good talkers and they are poor listeners. And somebody said that the reason why you have 2 eyes and 1 mouth is because you need to listen twice as much as you talk. You need to develop the ability to listen well. What does listening well help you to do? It helps you to know how to communicate and to negotiate even when there are antagonisms and issues of conflict in the workplace. By the way, in the lives of people that develop good relationships, they don't succeed in relationships because of lack of conflict. They succeed in relationships because even when there are conflicts, they are tactful enough to find common ground and listen and negotiate in a way that creates a win-win proposition with their colleagues. One of the things that I've come to realize is you are not taught to be tactful when you're earning your degree. You're given the hard skills, but being tactful is a soft skill that allows you to seek feedback and to learn to also serve the people that you work with. So you begin by being trustworthy. You go to being thoughtful. Number 3, you become tactful. Number 4, you become thankful. Now, let me tell you an interesting research that was done by a gentleman called Adrian Gostick. He realized that if you are in a workplace and when people are around you, they always feel appreciated, they will always want to work with you. Do you know that part of the reasons why people leave certain workplaces is simply because they don't feel appreciated? They may even be paid the highest rates that are payable, but appreciation is more than being paid. It is words of affirmation. It is words of appreciation. It is being able to give somebody a pat on the back because you realize that thankfulness is a powerful tool for strengthening relationships. Let me tell you something interesting about every human being that you will ever meet. They have an invisible sign on their face. An invisible sign that they have is, I want to be appreciated. I applied this tactic one time. I was working in a place where our salaries were always being delayed. The atmosphere was not very friendly. But I realized for the team that I was supervising, I kept appreciating them verbally and non-verbally. And I realized that just because I appreciated them, I built powerful and positive relationships that are still in touch with me. This is 5 years since I left that place. You know why? Thankfulness, appreciation is a powerful tool of developing strong workplace relationships. People have come to work. Why not appreciate them? Even when they don't meet the standard, find what they have done well and do it, find a way to appreciate them. All right? So find ways of appreciating your colleagues. Be genuine and specific when you're appreciating. And finally, number 5, the last skill that you need for you to be able to develop powerful, positive workplace relationships is you need what is called emotional tenacity. Now, when you're in a workplace, there will be very many opportunities to relax, to be casual, to be careless about how you treat people. But here is what tenacity means. Tenacity means that as an employee, as a worker, as a business person, you've got to develop the ability to cultivate what is called positive social connectedness through a pronounced focus on common good. This is where now, and I like something, I think somebody has asked a question about how do you deal with colleagues that are emotionally fragile. One of the ways you can deal with them is developing what is called the emotional tenacity to help them to realize that, number 1, there is a path of growth that they need to go, all right? And number 2, one of the ways to help people who are emotionally fragile is identify opportunities when you find them being emotionally mature. Of course, not everybody is emotionally fragile all the time. You need to find them in those moments when they are being emotionally mature or emotionally progressive and affirm them and appreciate them like we were talking about, all right? So we've talked about 5 quick things. I just want to go back over them very quickly, just for your retention. Number 1, be trustworthy. All right. People love a person they can trust in the workplace. All right. Number 2, be thoughtful. Find ways of demonstrating concern and providing support for people who are at work. For example, when you find somebody that is emotionally fragile, it could be an after effect of either trauma that they've been through or issues that they are going through. And this is where you've got to be thoughtful and develop conversations that could help you to see why are they emotionally fragile. But as you do that, you also need to be tactful in how you deal with them. All right. Develop the skill of talking to people and listening to them and negotiating with them. Number 4, we talked about appreciating people. And I would want you to look for a book, and this is a very interesting book to have. It's called Leading with Gratitude by a guy called Adrian Gostick and Chester Elton. They did a whole research about the power of appreciating your colleagues at work, and they've written a powerful book about it. And then we've talked about tenacity, developing the tenacity to look for what is right about people and what is not, and not what is wrong with people. All right. So let's finish this by talking about 5 choices that you need to make as you relate with people in the workplace. If you're going to be somebody that is enjoyable, somebody that is fun to work with, and somebody that brings powerful, positive energy in the workplace, there are 5 choices you need to make. And I'm going to use this probably to bring our conversation to a close. I know this is a whole seminar. I could preach and coach for a whole day, but allow me to just keep it brief so that I can just give you the top cream of what you need to have. So if you're going to be somebody that people love and enjoy work with, number 1, you've got to practice authenticity. Be real. Don't be a hypocrite. I think somebody said earlier that one of the people that they did not like working with is somebody who picked information from gossip and grapevine to make decisions about how to deal with people. That is somebody who is not authentic. When you are authentic, you bring your best self to the workplace. All right. You become authentic. Be genuine. Let people feel a fresh breath of fresh air when they interact with you. Number 2, cultivate self-awareness. What does self-awareness mean? Develop what is called mindfulness. Be conscious of your environment at work. Be conscious of your colleagues at work. Be conscious and aware that as you deal with people, you are dealing with you're dealing with human beings that are a package of emotions, of journeys. And when you are aware, you realize that you don't treat people the way they treat you. You treat people the way you would want them to treat you. That is called the golden rule. And then number 3, there is a choice you must make, even when you're working with toxic people. Don't allow people's bleeding to become the reason why you become cynical and you become somebody that is not easy to get along with. The door of your attitude is opened from the inside. People may treat you badly in the workplace, but guess what? You choose how you treat them back. That's a choice of attitude, all right? Many times, our challenge is not the negativity in the workplace. Our challenge is the negativity in our minds. Why? We must develop the ability to harness attitude so that it can work for us, all right? So you begin by being authentic, you become aware, you become a person with the right attitude, you become, number 4, assertive. By the way, one of the best tools of developing positive relationships in the workplace is simply learning to be assertive. Don't allow yourself to be the person that is stepped on in the name of you are humble. Humility is not allowing people to step on you. Humility is also having the assertiveness to be able to have boundaries and to be able to have tough conversations when those ones need to be held for relationships to be better. Don't be used to sweeping everything under the carpet just because you fear conflict. Healthy relationships in the workplace does not necessarily mean that there will be no conflict, but it means that even when there is conflict, people are able to handle it in a mature way with assertive skills, and they're able to come to a concrete solution that helps them to relate better. And finally, there is what is called adaptability. There are people that you will relate with and you can never change them, but you can relate better with them by adjusting and adapting your posture. One time I was working with a boss that was very cynical. They were used to beating people down, not receiving feedback very well, and not being open to the conversations that would bring progress in the workplace. What did I realize? I realized I can either stay in this workplace and be negative or cynical, or I can choose to adapt and find the things about the job that I like and focus on them. In life, you don't get to choose what life gives you, but you get to choose what you focus on, right? And there are always positive things that you can focus on and adapt so that your life at work does not become an evil you endure, but it becomes a joy that you experience. Let's finish by talking about what are the 3 rewards of developing positive social relationships. Remember, we've talked about the 5 choices that you need to make. We've talked about the principles, the choices. Now let's finish with talking about the rewards. There are 3 rewards that happen to you as a professional when you improve your relationship skills at work. Number 1, anytime you find you are either having good relationships or challenging relationships, there is something that happens to you when you choose to be a difference maker in the way you relate. When you relate better with people by choice, it provides the biggest opportunity for you to grow in character as you interact with people. For example, if you interact with colleagues that never listen, it trains you to appreciate the value of listening. And what does that do? It opens a door for you to grow in that area. In other words, even when you have tough relationships with people in the workplace, don't look for the opportunity to groan. Look for the opportunity to grow. In other words, there is always a win for you when you choose to be a person that is always growing, even when the relationships are not easy in the workplace. When you have a cynical boss, what growth opportunity is there for you? What development opportunity is there for you? Great people look for how to grow. Weak people look for how to complain. Choose to have what is called purposeful growth. All right. Number 2 reward of developing good professional relationships in the workplace is you end up developing a space where you can have what is called professional fulfillment. There is nothing as fulfilling as knowing I have done everything that I need to do so that I can grow, so that I can become better in how I relate with people. And the biggest winner for developing better relationships is always you. Don't do it because of the workplace. Do it because of your own journey of fulfillment and professional engagement. And lastly, there is what is called progress possibilities. When you relate well with people, when you cultivate positive, powerful professional relationships, it opens the door for you to advance at an accelerated rate. Most of your possibilities of advancement will not come through LinkedIn, will not come through social media. They will come through people that you treated well and you handled well, because people will never forget what you may forget what you told them rather, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And guess what? Most of your career rewards will come through positive relationships that you cultivated. I want to finish by giving you a challenge. Which one thing do you need to do to enhance the quality of your professional relationships? Which one thing do I need to do? Do I need to change my attitude? Do I need to develop assertiveness? Do I need to develop aptitudes of a certain caliber? What one thing do I need to do to enhance the quality of my professional relationships? And number 2, what 2 skills do I need to develop that will help? What 2 skills do you need to develop that will help you to cultivate better relationships in the workplace? What you're going to do is that you will identify skills that can help you to develop better relationship. You may need to learn the skill of emotional intelligence, for example. You may need to learn the skill of conflict resolution. You may need to learn the skill of effective listening. What 2 skills do you need to learn to develop better workplace relationships? Once you identify those skills, set some goals, work out a plan that will help you to grow. And remember, we've said when you grow in your relationship skills, you are the best winner in that journey. All right. So to help you to grow, I have some relationship resources that can help you. I have a book called The Excellence Code. This is a book for people that want to be outstanding in their professional field. All right. It's a book that will help you to choose maximum excellence in a world of dominant mediocrity. That book is available. We are taking advantage of it for only 1,000 shillings. I have a book called Cultivating Authentic Relationships that has a lot of what I've talked about today. It is available for you. It is 1,000 shillings. And I have a book that has what is called Character. All right. Remember, we talked about the 4 sins of people in the workplace relationships. We talked about ethical gaps. Okay. Those ones can only be resolved by developing character. This book is specifically tailored for men who are in the workplace or in life. You can take advantage of it for 800 shillings only, and it will add value to you. Finally, those are my contacts. Should you want to get in touch with me for coaching, for whatever professional help you may need, my email is over there. My Twitter handle is there. My phone number is there. You can also find me on Facebook as well as LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile, Boniface Nyoike Nganga, are the same names you will use to find me on LinkedIn. So I hope this short presentation has added value, and I want to believe that you will be a person that people enjoy working with and not a person that people endure working with, because you will have developed strong and powerful interpersonal skills. Let me take this meeting back to our host. This is Esther Katiba, and she will guide us, and I would be willing to also answer any questions that you may have so that we can come to a good, blessed end to our conversation. Thank you so much for your listening and for your audience. I'm grateful for this opportunity to share. Esther, back to you.
Wow. Wow. I told the audience, you're an amazing, amazing trainer, amazing speaker. Congratulations. Can you be invited? Let me see. There are people here looking for you. Can you be invited to NGO Roundtable? This is Paul. Paul, please call him. Someone is asking for your books, Boniface, so you can tell them where to get the books. Actually, put your number on the chat now that you've pulled down the, yeah. I can see where can we get much appreciated. I have learned a lot. Blessings. Can you be invited? That's Paul. Paul, please reach out. Appreciated. As a new worker, how can I grow? You may need to help with that. Maybe Boniface.
All right. Thank you, Esther. That's a very good question. I think that is Charity asking that. One of the easiest way to grow in professional life is to look for a mentor, right? There is people who are doing the exact same thing that you're doing, and they have made steps ahead of you. Probably they have more experience than you. They have more exposure than you. Find somebody who is at least 5 years ahead of you career-wise. Look for them, pursue them, and learn from them. We grow by learning from both the mistakes and the lessons of those who have gone ahead of us. The second thing that I would want to encourage you that can help you to grow is learn to develop the discipline of reading, and especially books that are aligned to your area of work. All right. Every area of work has a certain set of skills that are needed and a certain knowledge base that is required. All right. So find books that you can read that relate to your professional path that you've chosen. I've talked about mentorship. and looking for that. And then also, let YouTube be your teacher, okay? Go to YouTube. I think you can begin with Esther Katiba's YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel there. There's a lot there that you can learn about the workplace, about things that can help you to develop as a worker and to have, an advantage in your professional growth. So make social media your friend. Follow people that can add value to you and teach you online. And when you do those few things, they will help you to grow and so that you can become the person that you need to become. All right. Fantastic. I don't know whether there is any other question I've not answered. I think I have answered.
Yes, I think I see. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, most of the questions.
Someone still asking for the books. Zeddy says, working in an institution of higher learning, let me find a place and how you can help us develop an organizational culture. Jane, you know Jane very well. Jane says, what do you bring to the office? Climate, powerful self-reflection question. That's a good one, Jane. That's a good one. But thank you. Where do we get the books as we close?
All right. So should you want to get any of my books, you can take advantage of the number that I've given there. You can drop me a WhatsApp. So you let me know where you are, and then we can organize to have the books get to you. You can also inbox me on social media. Probably I can just put my contacts on social media up there again so that you can follow and check me out there. I also share some things online. So you can check me out on those contacts that I've put on the screen there. My email address is there. Should you need to email me, probably invite me for an event you'd want me to train, to speak, to coach. You can also follow me on Twitter, though I'm not very active on Twitter, but I'm very active on Facebook, on LinkedIn, I'm there. And also my number is there, 0723 562 587. All right. So I think somebody is asking whether they can access the recording. I think Esther should be able to avail the recording for your application on YouTube. Yes. But that is so much for now. Thank you so much, Esther.
Thank you too. We are actually live on YouTube. So please go to Conversations with Esther Katiba and you watch this and many more. Jane has been our guest before. Paul on the call has been our guest. So you will have a lot there to watch and grow and share with others. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Jane, Zeddy, Petronila, Dorothy, and everyone else. God bless you and have a good night.